Welcome to the Stratford IP Strategy Academy. In this session, we're going to learn about why intellectual property, or IP, is important. Let's get started. Intellectual property is an intangible asset. An intangible asset is a resource that has no physical presence, but has long-term value for a business. Intangible assets can be applied to concrete items. Let's use the example of the Saucony Converra running shoe. Saucony sells a tangible product, a running shoe, but this is supported by IP, which, while intangible, increases the value of the Saucony company beyond the revenue for the sale of the shoe. Their IP is manifested in a number of intangible ways. The brand recognition they get from their trademark names, the look of the product with industrial designs, technical innovations to improve the utility of the shoe, improved manufacturing processes kept as trade secrets, and copyrighted marketing material for selling the shoe. IP is one of the most valuable intangible assets that a company can have. As we can see from this graph, the valuation of large companies is now primarily centered around their intangible assets. 95% of investment decision makers in Columbia Threadneedle's investment survey agreed that intangible assets contain important information on the future strength of a company's business model. 88% agreed that conventional valuation methods were inadequate if they did not incorporate intangible assets. Now, let's focus on leveraging value in intellectual property rights from the perspective of increasing competitive advantage and defending and protecting. Intellectual property supports the ability to grow and expand your market. In the Canadian Intellectual Property Office's 2019 IP Canada report, they showed that this increased ability was realized both domestically and internationally. They also found that SMEs holding IP were much more likely to expect and have experienced high growth. In the 2014 survey, SMEs holding IP were 1.6 and 2 times more likely to have experienced and expected high growth in the past 3 years as compared to SMEs not using IP, while in 2017, the figures increased to 1.9 and 2.5 respectively. Investors want to invest in a disruptive business with IP protected in a pragmatic and efficient manner. Without protection, developments and competitive advantage are free to be used by all. If the IP is well protected, and it can succeed against better financed and more experienced competitors, it has an exponentially higher chance of achieving a great return on investment. IP strategy is therefore a key factor to be considered by investors when evaluating a company. According to the study from the CIPO, companies who are aware of or own IP obtain higher financing amounts than companies that don't. The importance of having a comprehensive IP strategy is visible in how investors provide equity financing. Investors provide more financing to companies that comprehensively use IP than companies who only hold formal IP. Moving on to supporting revenue generation. Along with increasing revenue directly by selling protected products, IP can create revenue through licensing and royalties. For example, Samsung pays Microsoft upwards of $1 billion annually in a licensing agreement that allows Samsung to use Microsoft's IP in their Android phones. This agreement is set up so that Microsoft gets paid for every single Android phone that Samsung sells. Having IP and marking it appropriately creates marketing and brand equity. It showcases technical leadership, both with customers and competitors. For example, marking the patent number on the Dutch oven is a way to promote that it's an innovative product that has been recognized by the patent office who issued a patent. Marking products and product documentation with patent pending is also an indication that there are innovative concepts that are in the process of being protected. Marking trademarks and copyrights is also important to show brand ownership. Moving on, we will now discuss the defending and protecting aspects that come from holding IP rights. IP creates a competitive advantage by increasing the barriers to entry for competitors. By obtaining IP rights, you can exclude competitors from using your innovations. If they do not comply and infringe, remedies can be taken up in court. For example, Canadian company i4i went against TechTitan Microsoft Corporation after the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a judgment that Microsoft had willingly infringed on i4i's property, and they had to pay $290 million. It's not only patents for which companies go to court, but for almost any kind of IP. For example, let's look at this copyright case. A jury ordered SAP to pay Oracle $1.3 billion as the required company Tomorrow Now had previously and illegally downloaded proprietary software and documents through a web scraper. As demonstrated here, it's important to note that in mergers and acquisitions, acquiring companies take on IP risk. IP can also be used to defend against threats. For example, if you're sued for patent infringement, but you hold a patent for a similar invention, you can countersue and possibly invalidate your competitor's patent. Also, IP assets can be cross-licensed to prevent future threats. For example, Microsoft and Funai Electric announced a patent cross-licensing agreement covering a range of consumer audiovisual products. This cross-licensing agreement is another example of the advantages of an IP-led economy, encouraging product interoperability and accelerating research and development advances across companies. As can be seen in the World Intellectual Property Organization's 2019 Facts and Figures, global IP filing activity continues to grow at a rapid pace, with new records reached in 2018. Although intangible, IP is important because it creates a competitive advantage. It supports you in defending and protecting your position, and it increases your company's valuation. Investors want to invest in a disruptive business with IP protected in a pragmatic and efficient manner.